The Lives. No Return Voyage. Chapter 3. The Old Gods. I said what happened when Ben woke up, Lou. Jebediah's voice came low. I know there's something you're not telling me. His lips were pressed together tightly. And what was Abraham talking about? He demanded. My mind raced. Should I tell him the truth or lie? I couldn't possibly tell him that I had called to the old gods. No, that wouldn't do at all. Master wouldn't like it. I quickly decided upon what to say. My hands tightened around my shawl. I was caught between confession and protection. I chose a little bit of both and began to tell him everything. Well, almost everything. Ben, I told him, my voice low and careful. He didn't seem like himself at all. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to go on. The last thing he said was that the place we're headed will be our last. That we're all going to die there. Jebediah gave a small smile then, thin, almost amused. Our last? He repeated softly. I think not, Lou, he said, shaking his head. But tell me this. His eyes sharpened. Since a sick child suddenly found his voice, did he happen to mention where we're headed? I could tell then he didn't believe me. That cut deep. Why would I lie about such a thing? What gain could there be in inventing death? Nonsense, I thought. He kept staring, certain he had cornered me, waiting for my words to fail. Then, Roanoke! The word exploded through the room in Abraham's deep baritone from behind us. Slow, heavy, final, like a bell tolling for the dead. Both Jebediah and I startled. Neither of us had heard the giant man re-enter with the firewood. Jebediah spun around, anger and fear catching in his throat. What did you say, boy? Abraham didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He simply met the pastor's eyes, his own dark and steady. The firelight glinting off them like polished stone. Roanoke, he repeated, slow and sure, his thick Haitian accent curling around the name. This is what the boy said. Then he returned from us and knelt by the earth, feeding the fire with deliberate movements, but not before I saw it. Surprise flicker across Jebediah's face. He had recognized the name. I was sure of it. Abraham's eyes shot to mine, quick, sharp, knowing. The pastor tried to mask it, to gather himself and recover, but it was too late. Abraham and I had both seen it. That chilled me deeper than the cold air in the room. Oh, my Lord, had Ben spoken truth? My heart thudded painfully. Is that the name of the place we're going? Roanoke. I swallowed hard, my heart thudding painfully in my chest. Is it true, Master? I whispered, the words breaking free before fear could stop them. Is that the name? My voice trembled as it slipped out, barely louder than a breath. Roanoke. Jebediah didn't answer. He stared at me, long and hard, like he was measuring the cost of what I'd asked. His throat bobbed as he swallowed. Then slowly, very slowly, he sat down on the edge of the bed outside Ben, his eyes never leaving the boy's pale face. Roanoke, he muttered under his breath. No one knows that name. I haven't spoken it aloud. He looked back at me then, And in his eyes I saw something I had never seen before. Doubt. Fear. "Lou," he whispered. "Did the boy say anything else?" All trace of smugness now gone from his face. He leaned forward slightly. "Tell me the truth. All of it." "That is the truth," I said. The words came out soft, but steady. Stronger than I expected. I lifted my chin just enough to meet his gaze. "I told you everything I saw. Everything I heard." The room felt smaller as silence pressed in around us. The fire snapped, sending sparks up the chimney, and Ben's breath hitched in his sleep, so faint, yet enough to make us both flinch. "I'm not lying to you, Master," I continued, pulling my shawl tighter around my shoulders. The boy said the name clear as daylight. His voice wasn't even his own. I swallowed again, my voice shaking. "There's nothing else to tell you, Master. That is the truth." Jebediah turned then. "He saw Haints," Abraham added quietly, "and I felt them." "Haints?" Jebediah repeated, his eyes shifting sharply between the two of us. "Spirits," I whispered. "Bad spirits." "Nonsense," he said calmly, forcing an ease that didn't quite reach his eyes. "The work of the devil, nothing more. A trick, meant to thwart my mission to spread God's good word." He waved a dismissive hand. "Silly slave superstitions. Haints and spirits." His mouth tightened. "What are such things compared to the goodness and the protection of the Lord?" Abraham let out a low under his breath as he stoked the fire, sending sparks leaping upward. "We must remain steadfast in our faith, Lou," Jebediah continued, his voice growing firmer, practiced. "In the one true God. We must not fall for the devil's tricks and his lies, for he is the great deceiver after all." As he said it, his gaze lingered on Abraham's back. "We must also be careful," he continued, "not to fall prey to human persuasion, the kind that tempts us away from the light and the love of the good Lord our Father." The fire popped louder then, as if answering him. Once again Abraham spoke, boldly, without being asked. "Is there truth in the boy's words?" Jebediah paused. "You continue to overstep, Abraham," he said coldly. "I think some correction may be in order." Before the threat could take shape, before his words could turn into action, I found my courage and did a bit of my own overstepping. "Is it true?" I asked in a strong voice. "And how do you explain Ben knowing it so?" The room fell silent, waiting for his answer. The pastor looked down at Ben's sweet face, now peaceful in his sleep. For the first time, he seemed unwilling to speak at all. "He must have heard me say it," Jebediah finally offered, though the excuse sounded thin even as it left his mouth. "Perhaps while playing in the library," he added, grasping for reason. "He may have overheard me there." Now it was my turn to look at him hard. He and I both knew the truth. The boy was never allowed in the library, and on the rare occasions he wandered too close, he was quickly reprimanded and sent away. Lies, I thought, not an excuse. "Nevertheless," Jebediah said, "regardless, we shall forge ahead." He stood up from the bed and straightened, coming to his own full height. He looked down at Abraham, stoking the fire still, resolve hardening his voice. In fact, we will travel to the ship with the rest of our supplies in 2 days. This voyage is blessed and ordained by the Lord himself. I will not hear anything more about this now. I suggest you both prepare yourselves and steady your nerves. He pointed toward the door, command settling back into his posture. His voice left no room for any more questions. The matter, as far as he was concerned, was finished. Lou, go wake Martha so she can see after Ben now. Then meet me in the library so we can go over the inventory. I exchanged a quick glance with Abraham, and we both looked at the pastor. No more of that now. He seethed in a low whisper, sharp with warning. Come what may, we sail next week. He paused, then added, quieter still. Furthermore, I don't want any of the silly ghost talk leaving this room. I don't want to have the others stirred up with fear. With that, he dismissed us. As we turned to leave, the fire flared suddenly behind us. A log dropped and hissed. For a fleeting moment, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had already begun following us, watching, waiting. As I closed the door behind us, Abraham reached for my hand. The touch startled me, not for its boldness, but for its gentleness. His grip was careful, warm, nothing like what I expected. I looked up and caught the bright spark in his eyes. I realized then I had never truly seen them before, how striking they were. He was always looking down, playing the fool, hiding himself. But not now. Lou, he whispered, his thick accent curling around my name as he held my hand. This voyage is cursed. We have been warned. His voice dropped lower. We should leave this place while we still have breath. Shock rippled through me, sharp and sudden, but I did not let it show. Any other time, I might have struck him with harsh words, pushed him away for daring to speak so freely. But this time, the weight of what he said settled deep in my heart. I heard you pray to the other gods, Lou, he continued softly, to spare the boy. So don't look at me like you don't know what I speak of. Do you think I caused it? I asked, the question slipping out before I could stop it. Too open, I thought. I didn't even know if I could trust him, but there was relief in finally setting the weight down. No, Lou, Abraham said at once. If anything, you saved him. His grip tightened just slightly. You're special, Lou. You're protecting Ben, maybe even all of us, from whatever this thing is that's begun stalking us. We should run, he said quietly. Now, while we still can. Surprise washed through me again. This man, who had barely ever spoken more than a handful of words to me, was asking me to flee with him. Then I heard Jebediah's footsteps. Fear snapped me back to myself. I pulled my hand free, and the warmth vanished instantly, leaving my fingers aching with cold. His hand kept mine warm. I looked into Abraham's eyes one last time. We'd better get to our duties, I said, forcing steadiness where none lived. Think about it, Lou, he whispered urgently. We can make it together. He paused. If not, I'm certain we sail to our deaths, to this wicked place. Roanoke. Stay tuned for episode 4. See you in Roanoke.